Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to be doing a morning yin yoga flow, but you could do this at any time, honestly. Yin yoga is so beneficial at any time of the day. You could do this in the morning, right when you wake up. You could do it when you get home from work, at night, before you go to sleep. It is so beneficial for you to do at any time, okay? So this is just what I've been doing every morning as soon as I wake up, and I've been loving it. So I thought I would share. Okay. And because it is a yin yoga practice, feel free to have all the props that you want. We are going to be using 2 blocks, 2 blankets, and a bolster. But you can, if you're practicing at home, you can use whatever props you have available to you. You also don't need to use props, but because it is yin yoga, it is nice to be able to have props. Like you can see, I have just 2 random blankets, a random pillow that is big enough to be like a bolster, and I actually do have 2 yoga blocks. But okay, so we're going to start. When you're ready, I'm just going to move everything out of the way. Keep the yoga blocks close to you because we are going to be starting off with those. But when you're ready, just you could either find a nice seated position or find your way down to the mat, just so we can start this practice by inhaling deeply in through the nose and sighing it out. 2 more times. 2 more times. Inhale. Once more. And you can bring your hands in prayer at heart center. Bow your head towards your chest and set an intention for this practice today. An intention I normally like to set is just being present here during this practice. You can take this with you throughout the practice, maybe even throughout the day, whatever feels good for you. We're going to move into our first pose. And traditionally, yin yoga is practiced for about anywhere between 3 to 7 minute holds, okay? And we're going to start off with heart bench today. And so you're going to take your block. One is going to be at its highest setting. I'm pretty sure you can see. One is going to be at the highest setting, and then the other one is going to be at the medium setting, like long ways. So it's going to go down your spine. And then the tall one is going to support your head. And so once you have that, the one that is going to go along your spine is going to go right where your shoulder blades start. And so you would start off with your feet on the floor with your knees bent and find your way down into position, okay? And if you could adjust that block that is used for the head, so you kind of have your head going towards your chin. You don't want it exactly at your, like going at your chin, but just a slight bend forward, I guess. Okay. You can just be here with your arms at your side, or if it is in your practice, you can extend your legs forward and just let them go. And we'll be here for about 3 to 5 minutes. And if you've never practiced yin before, I just want to let you know that in yin, the point is not to have muscles activated. We release our body. We don't hold any, we do experience tension in yin yoga, but we're not like flexing our feet, for example, to activate any muscles. The whole point is to relax the entire body so we can get into the connective tissue instead of the muscles, like we would in active yoga. And you never want to start off in, you never want the pose to be difficult from the beginning, because we are holding these poses for a longer period of time than we do in traditional yoga, like vinyasa yoga, ashtanga, hatha. Um, so find that place where you can hold it for anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes at a time. We're not going to go that long today. If it starts to get difficult, bring your attention back to your breath. Of course, you should not be in pain. So if you are in pain, either try to adjust or get out of the pose safely. But it is normal to experience tension. And when you're ready, take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And to get out of this pose, if you have your legs extended, go ahead and bend them and bring your feet to the floor. And we're going to turn our hands, like arms, face down so the palms are on the ground. And we're going to press with our elbows and lead with our chest up, and just come into a seat wherever you are, whatever feels comfortable for you, just for a few breaths, letting the pose settle into the body. Maybe you feel the imprint, the sensation of where the blocks were on your body. ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes if they were closed, and we'll move on to the next pose. So the next pose that we're going to do is going to be child's pose, which is very similar to the one that we do in traditional yoga and like hatha vinyasa. But you have the option, I don't know if I stayed in frame, you have the option to use props, and I like using props just because it just feels really nice to relax into it. Okay, so you can, so in child's pose we're going to be toes touching, knees apart, and you can either be extended like this. If it's too much for your shoulders, you can maybe bring knees slightly closer together and wrap arms around your legs. Or what I like to do is I like to bring my blocks, and you don't even have to have it on the blocks. You could also, because I'm going to put a bolster on top, but so I like to have my blocks like parallel to each other and then put the bolster on top, and you're basically going to get into like the position and just find what works for you. And then, like I said, you don't have to have it on the blocks, but I like it because then you can hold the bolster and just relax into it. Okay. And yin yoga is so beneficial for the body because it really gives us a time to tap into this yin energy when most of us are always tapped in to the yang or the yang energy, the masculine, always moving quickly, like that type of energy. And so practicing yin kind of just helps to rebalance and get both in harmony, because that's what yoga is about anyway, right? Yoga meaning union, yin and yang, or yang, about the balance, the harmony of both energies. And if you are like me and have your head facing one way, this is the perfect time to change directions. And when you're ready, take an inhale, exhale, and slowly come up, pushing with your hand. You could either just sit here or move all the props if you used any and find an easy seated position, just letting your body settle in. When you're ready, you can open your eyes if you had them closed. And our next pose is going to be butterfly pose. So for this, we're going to have our feet touching, and you're going to open your knees. And you can have your feet as close to your pelvis or as far as feels good to you. And you can bring any sort of props that you want into this practice, whatever feels comfortable for you. I like to sometimes use blocks and kind of adjust the height based on how deep I can go, as deep as I can hold it. But you could also use a bolster. You don't have to use any props. You can just let your body hang. And we're rounding out the spine. So we're gonna sit up straight, inhale, and then just fold forward and just let gravity take your body here. In Yin Yoga, we let gravity do the work while we just relax. Gravity helps push our body and get into the connective tissue, to get into the fascia, all the good stuff that we normally aren't targeting, that we normally can't really get to, right? Even in a pose like this, even though it may be common for us to kind of be not necessarily as extreme of a position, but with that rounded back, maybe forward neck, either from working all day, sitting in an office, or just even like on your phone, it's so normal for us to be in a position like this. But actually doing this pose kind of counteracts that in a way, because we're doing it intentionally. We're getting into the connective tissue, the deep parts of our body that are normally used to being compressed. And so it's almost like we give it room to breathe. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, exhale, and slowly come back up. Keeping your eyes closed if your eyes were closed. Into an easy seated position where, again, we're just going to let the body settle. Okay, and when you're ready, we're going to get into the next pose, which is caterpillar pose. It's going to be similar shape, I guess, like we're going to be rounded back, but we're going to have legs extended. I sometimes like to have my knees bent because sometimes I find it just easier on my body than to have them fully extended, because we are just going to be in a forward fold. So do whatever feels good in your body. There's no pressure here. And you're gonna, so in this position, you're gonna have your legs extended and you're just gonna let them fall wherever they may, wherever they want to, right? Again, we're not gonna hold any tension in our muscles. We just want to relax the entire body, okay? So in this, once you get into position, have your back straight. Take a deep breath in. And just fold forward. Just listening and paying attention to your body. And just letting go. Letting your body do the work. This is all you have to do. You just gotta relax here in these poses. And your body is doing the rest of the work. And you can always bring any blocks as well, right? Like you can, or a bolster, whatever you can, or whatever you want, if you want to support the head. This is your practice. Feel free to just play around and see what works for you. Again, remember it's normal to feel tension. We actually want to feel that tension to be able to get into the connective tissue and the fascia. But we but you don't want to be feeling pain. If you feel pain, adjust or just come to an easy seated position. And when you're ready, inhale, exhale, and slowly come back up again. Just letting your body settle once again. And we're just going to do one more final pose before we get into Shavasana. We are going to be doing supported bridge, which is the most active yin pose. So we're going to lay down on our backs, starting with our knees bent. You're gonna want to block, and you're gonna lift up into bridge. And from here, you're gonna slide that block. You can start off with the lowest setting, and then if that feels too easy, then you can move to the medium setting. But you're gonna start off, but you're gonna slide it right at your sacrum. This pose is good when you do forward folds because we're counteracting what was done in those forward folds by letting our back just settle. You don't want the block on your back. You want to make sure that it really is at your sacrum to prevent injury. And if this is too easy for you, you can extend your legs. Again, remember, find a pose. Find that sweet spot in that pose where you can hold it for a few minutes at a time and just relax into it. You don't want to find a harder variation of it and then have to constantly adjust, right? The whole point of yin is to be able to settle into your body, just letting it be, relax into it while we let the inner body do the work, do the healing, get into that homeostasis. And when you're ready, inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift the hips, slide that block under, and just rest here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, we're just going to get into Shavasana. Extend your legs towards the corners of your mat. And your arms at your side. And this is a really great place where, again, if you want to add props, I like to add a bolster. I need to move. Sorry, my love, I'm so sorry. I like to add a bolster under my knees, and I like to put a blanket at my head as a pillow, and then another blanket on my hips, on my pelvis. And you can adjust however you want. You don't need to use props if you don't want to use props. This is just what I like to do. And then again, to give that chin and the body kind of the effect of a forward fold, I'm just going to pull that blanket a little up so it kind of forces my chin into a slight forward, like towards my chest. And if you have the time, being in Shavasana for at least 15 minutes has such an effect on the body. Because about 15 minutes in is when you reach the homeostasis, right? And then your body begins to heal on its own while you just lay here, right? But if you don't have the time, then anywhere between 3 and 10 minutes is perfectly okay too. And if you would like to stay in Shavasana longer, feel free to end this video here. But if you are ready to end this practice with me, take a deep inhale. Exhale. More times. Inhale. Sigh it out. Once more. Inhale. Sigh it out. And we're going to roll over to one side. Taking the time here to thank yourself for coming to this practice, for letting your body do what it needed to do. When you're ready, go ahead and come up to an easy seated position. You can keep your eyes closed. Bringing your hands in prayer at heart center, bowing down, remembering that intention that you set for today in this practice. And maybe you take it with you, or maybe you leave it. Do what feels good for you. We're going to inhale, arms up. And prayer over the crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root chakra, and either at your third eye or your heart. And we bow forward and I say namaste to you and to Mother Earth. Thank you so much for being here in this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to more Yin Yoga practices. And yeah, you can go ahead and practice this whenever you want. You can come back to it. Just do what feels good to you, what you feel called to do, okay? So hopefully I'll see you again very soon.